Now, this is an extremely important video that every single musician needs to watch. In case you didn't know, I graduated college with a business degree with a concentration in accounting, and I used to be an accountant. And as a result, I've had some musicians hit me up saying, hey Mark, I know you used to be an accountant, you graduated with a business degree with a concentration in accounting. Do you think I should study some business classes if I'm trying to be a successful musician? And my answer 100% of the time is absolutely. So in this video, I'm gonna talk about one, are these online business college classes worth it or not for musicians? And two, what should you study if you're trying to get more knowledge and gain more knowledge about the music business? Now, I have to stress that when it comes to all these successful or famous musicians that I've met, not only are they super talented at music, of course, but they also are very, very smart business-wise. As Mark Cuban said, the music industry or the music business is one of the worst businesses to get into. And I hate to say it, it's true. But having business knowledge or accounting knowledge or finance knowledge or all these subsects of business are incredibly important. So first off, you may be wondering, well, should I take an online class? Should I look at these online business college classes? Should I maybe even consider getting an online business degree? Now, when it comes to online colleges or online universities, being honest, I'm not the biggest fan of them. And I just mentioned online colleges. I mean, you can always take like a class in person, but I just mentioned them because also they're super flexible or easy with their schedule. They usually cost less, so on and so forth. And while there is some benefit to taking online business classes, if you want me to be honest, I think you can find all that information online completely for free, so you don't need to pay that money for that online class. And two, there's actually a lot of online business classes, and even more specifically, online music business classes that you can watch and basically take completely for free. I remember way back when, in 2014, when I had my first kind of countrywide tour as a DJ and I was working on my first album, I actually took an online music business class completely for free from Berkeley, and I learned all the technicalities between what does a manager actually do? What does an agent actually do? What's the difference between a manager and a touring manager? What are performance rights organizations or pros? How do you collect royalties, and are there different types of royalties? So on and so forth. And yes, you may be thinking, well, Mark, I'm just a musician. I'm just trying to make music. That's all I'm focusing on. And I'll have my manager do it, or I'll have my agent do it, or I'll have basically someone else do it for me. And while that is the case, while for a lot of musicians, especially the big ones, they have other people do the whole legal business side of stuff, having solid business knowledge is super imperative. If you want me to be honest, I actually think that's exactly why for me that I've been able to be a successful musician, to live off both my music income and my YouTube income and basically my other revenue streams entrepreneurially, is because I have this business knowledge. When I was touring, like I said, that first ever countrywide tour, I negotiated all my contracts. I negotiated all my business deals. You know, I remember talking to some clubs, working deals out, and that was super important because, as you can imagine, especially for like a DJ, a lot of clubs and managers are like, oh, this is some random DJ wants to perform here, we'll just give him this money. And I came in being like, look, I used to be an accountant, I have business knowledge, I'm gonna do this and this, and I'd create these like business plans for them and business proposals for me to perform at their venue. And as you can imagine, for a lot of managers or talent bookers, they'd see like, wow, this guy or girl has solid business knowledge. Not only are they saying, hey, I really want to perform at your venue or something like that, they're saying, look, here's the ROI of me performing there. Here's what's in it for you. Here's my marketing strategy. Here's my USP or my unique selling proposition for me as a musician, and how it's beneficial for your venue for me to perform at. So without any more rambling, just take the business classes. Like I said, do them online because one, you can find a lot of free ones. Don't pay for any classes. Just find some free ones, or even just read articles. You know, there's a bunch of amazing blogs and resources for the music business and how to navigate it. And obviously, it's super flexible too. In your meantime, when you're producing or working on new tracks and new records, you can learn more about the music industry. Now, you may be wondering like, okay, Mark, that all makes sense. What classes should I take? One, see if you can find an intro to music business class. So this is gonna focus on the actual business of music. Like I said, what does an agent do? What does a manager do? What are pros? You know, what are royalties? How do you make money from your music? All these super specific music business topics are incredibly imperative, and you really need to know them. The second type of class I find is any type of entrepreneurial or how to basically build a business class. Now, I know you may be thinking like, wait a minute, Mark, like, I'm a musician. I'm not trying to make my own business, but guess what? If you are a musician, you have to look at yourself as a business. The second that I looked at myself not as DJ Ferchero, the musician, but when I look at myself as DJ Ferchero, the business, it allows me to think a lot more business-like, which is incredibly important. If you think about it, DJ Ferchero or me as an artist, I am my own business, and my product is my music, my performances, my merchandise, etc., etc. So by taking an entrepreneurial class or any class about how to grow a business or start a business is super important. The third thing I suggest is a marketing class. I mean, hey, if you think about it, right now in this day and age, there's never been more music out there, and a lot of musicians are doing things independently. I mean, hey, I'm an independent musician as well. So if you think about it, if you're an independent musician, you also need to be really, really good at marketing. The whole cliche idea that if you make really, really good music, eventually people will find it is not true anymore. I don't care who says, oh, you know, don't worry about marketing, just make really, really good music and I promise you people will find you. No, they won't. They might, don't get me wrong, but you need to have a solid marketing strategy in place and just have good marketing knowledge. And the last type of class I take is an accounting or a finance class. Because if you're a musician and you're a full-time musician at that, you need to know taxes. You need to be very good at budgeting. You need to be very good at all the accounting and the financial aspects that happen, like I said, not only with you as a musician, but with you being also a business. And this is super imperative. Taking those classes and gaining that knowledge is super imperative to become a successful musician, because it's not just about making amazing music, which is obviously always important, but it's about growing your brand and growing your business that is music as big as possible.